Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Steven Universe episode reviews. This one's going to be for Season 5 episode 17 and 18, Can't Go Back and A Single Pale Rose. And yeah, these were two very, very eventful episodes. These were the two episodes I was really waiting for. I had talked in previous reviews for a while about how, the structure of the show with how piecemeal and just all over the place they were being with kind of reveals towards the greater plot. I was very worried that this show was finally going to do the reveal and it not mean all that much because the setup wasn't good enough, but they really got it right here across these two episodes, and I think these two are right up there with, I think, some of the, at the very least, best written episodes, and I think they will be just really, really memorable. Both of them. Even though the first one was, I suppose, more of a Lapis-focused episode, which is kind of setting things up for wherever her arc is going into the future. But the second one was, like, the big episode in terms of just finally revealing this. That, here it is, Rose Quartz is Pink Diamond. And I think they did such a good job at kind of leading you astray on this, that the mystery was more around, like, basically what led to the situation where Rose Quartz shattered Pink Diamond. How did that situation happen? In terms of, like, was there some sort of relationship between Pink Diamond and Rose Quartz? But then them kind of revealing it here and it all making sense. Obviously, there's a little bit of complexity to it because it's a whole plan and stuff like that. There's things you don't expect, but it works. It fits with the previous scenes that we've got, like Steven getting that, like, first person's perspective looking into a mirror, and it's Pink Diamond looking back at him and realizing now that that's, his mother's memories, and that effectively now means the big reveal that they haven't properly touched on just now is that Steven has his mother's gem. That means Steven's gem is a diamond, and that helps to explain the crazy powers that he has. But even then, like, they haven't gone overboard in the series about explaining just how many more powers a diamond has compared to a different gem. But through Steven now, we sort of, I suppose, understand that a little bit better. Because I think before this reveal, we're kind of like, okay, Rose Quartz was a powerful gem, but, like, is there some sort of thing about, like, gems' interaction with the fact that Steven's also human that makes him even more powerful? But this helps to explain things really, really well. But I'll get to that after we discuss the first episode with Lapis. Obviously, Ronaldo's in this one, kind of just tells Steven that there's something on the moon. They initially think it's the moon-based thing from before, but it actually turns out that the farmhouse, Lapis, the one that Lapis took away, is on the moon. And Steven goes up there, of course, and I really like the kind of dynamic between both of them in this episode, because they've always got across that, Steven and Lapis are friends, and he can really, I suppose, get to the heart of the matter with her, when I think other characters, they almost tend to avoid discussing things with her. She doesn't feel like she can be open, but with Steven, she sort of can. And just finding out that she sort of, in a way, turned back because she couldn't leave behind Earth because it means so much to her. But she had made such, I suppose, a fuss about how she initially left that she couldn't come back all the way, and was sort of just spying on them, basically, but from, I suppose, coming from a good place, though. And it's just, I suppose, the character that she is, where she, because of everything that she's been through, she really does struggle with just being kind of more, I suppose, open with her feelings and how she really kind of feels about things, and tends to, have that character trait of running away from anything that's, tough or dangerous. And you understand the want for safety, of course, knowing how dangerous the diamonds are. But in this case, it was interesting because Steven kind of had her. He was saying all the right things to her. The visuals we were getting of Earth as they were kind of spying on everyone, it really got across that, she wants to be around Peridot. She's really upset about what happened there, and wants to be part of the group in a way, but is just like, will they accept me back given everything that I've done? And Stephen just kind of saying, okay, it'll be different, so why not embrace that, how different it is, and just bring the farmhouse back, but basically become our next door neighbors. Don't live all the way off in the country. Live right next to us, and we can all be, together, and we can interact more. So it's not just you and Peridot on your own. And she's all into it until Stephen falls asleep and has his dream, and then it's just this situation where Stephen's big issue, he's trying to help her through her kind of big issues, but then Stephen has a dream about his, and suddenly the calm influence that's helping bring her back has suddenly turned into like fear over what he's dealing with, and it just happens at the exact wrong time. The one person who would react in that way to things, and it just is a complete 180 from Lapis. And I think it's purposely meant to be this sort of frustrating scene of kind of it being like you were all the way back, and now you've gone all the way off in the other direction, in that she's heading as far away from Earth as possible. That's how afraid she is of Stephen's reaction to what he saw, which is a real cool thing, because they're sort of like, okay, this is what we're giving you of Lapis and Stephen's relationship now, and just Lapis's character arc, but we'll use a setup for the next episode to be the reason why Lapis kind of goes away again. So I assume that will come back, and that'll be interesting to see just how they go about attempting to resolve it. But definitely the way they showed the next part with the dreams, and this, I suppose the big part being, clearly Pearl carrying around Rose's sword, and Stephen more or less getting the conclusion that has sort of been hinted at before to him. Pearl shattered Pink Diamond. Is that what actually happened? And that's what the second episode's all about. Him bringing this up with her, trying to get that information out of her. And while they don't fully explain that, it's some sort of a spell or complete block that she just can't say it out loud, they do enough in terms of it being kind of this is one of the biggest promises that Pearl had ever made to anyone, and that's why she didn't want to say it just out loud. So she kind of lets Stephen discover it through exploring her memories and the kind of text message thing. Really cool kind of structure for the episode because of that. Kind of going further and further, back in time to, eventually get to the moment where the big reveal obviously is, here is the plot to kill Pink Diamond and what it actually meant. And before that, you were just getting more and more confused about okay, obviously this is the aftermath of most of the crystal gems being kind of destroyed, and obviously Pearl and Rose being one of the only few people left. Then you get the quite a crazy one of just what seems to be the remains of Pink Diamond's gem on the ground, and his mother in front of him, but it's his mother, it's Pearl shapeshifted into Rose's form, and it just being this crazy thing of okay, so Pearl did shatter Pink Diamond, but she did it as Rose. What's going on here? Where is Rose in this situation? And that's when, of course, the final scene happens, and you see Rose and Pearl talking. Rose, obviously, the reveal comes out that she is in fact Pink Diamond, and I love how they do it. Just the simplicity of it. I think a few people had definitely called this one when it came to this theory of the reason the gem is different is just the orientation, and I like that as Rose Quartz, the diamond is facing outwards, that the top of the diamond is facing outwards, as Rose Quartz, as the diamond it's kind of pointing down, and that's how you get the two different gems. There's no sort of complete changing of what the gem is. It's just the Rose Quartz gem. No, it's a diamond, which is a really cool reveal that, you know, they are the same person and she took on this different form so that she could just be a normal gem. And what I love about this is that it immediately adds so much interpretation to Rose as well as Pink Diamond, because previously you'd obviously thought of them as two separate people, and you'd more or less taken this approach where like Pink Diamond is this kind of like cruel, kind of childish ruler in a way or something like that, and Rose was this kind of heroic character who maybe did something very dark. But now that they're the same person, you get that dynamic of like Rose talking about her relationship with the other diamonds, that they don't listen to her. They don't listen to anything she has to say about wanting to do something different with you know, one of her worlds basically. And the idea, I think they're more or less saying, is that the other diamonds sort of took over the main plans about what was happening there, and they disagreed completely with what Pink actually wanted to do, because we get the idea that Pink actually liked the life on the planet, and because they're the same person, it now all begins to make sense. The sort of issue that we've got hinted at between the different diamonds, mainly towards Pink, is because of basically the same ideology as why they would oppose Rose, because they're one and the same. So I thought that was a really, really cool reveal, how it all fits together nicely, and at the same time adds more insight into everything. So I think there's more to come out of this, I think, for sure, because a lot of it right now is kind of interpretation of events, but I think they will address that more, just the direct issue between the different diamonds and why exactly this happened. I suppose, in a way, kind of misunderstanding in a way, because we know, I suppose, that Blue especially actually really cared for Pink, and so Pink interpreting the kind of disagreement over this as them not caring about her, when especially at least one of them did, ends up being this very important kind of plot point, because the big point of this all is to leave behind the Pink Diamond side of her and just go ahead that I'm Rose Quartz now. I don't need the responsibility of being a diamond because they don't care what I have to say. And I think the real only mistake is just not, I suppose, thinking that they didn't care about her enough, that when she died on Earth that they just leave the planet alone, not expecting that they would basically take revenge against everything that happened on the planet and more or less wipe everyone out. That's probably where they'll want to develop things a little bit more to give further insight, because like you see like Pearl's reaction to this, because Pearl is obviously like, I wouldn't have agreed to do this if I'd known that this would be the outcome, that it'd only be me and Rose left. Everyone else would be dead because of basically retribution for the shattering of Pink Diamond. And yeah, like the exact details of how they do it, they still have, I think, have to do the full reveal on it. I don't know if they'll ever do it, but they more or less seem to just do this idea like, okay, Pearl morphs into Rose, who is Pink Diamond, and holds onto Pink's gem, which is the Rose Quartz gem, whereas I think this is where this kind of problem comes in that like, because we didn't like see just straight through the actual shattering happen, we don't really know if like she picked up the gem afterwards or what. But the idea, I think, is meant to be that like, could like Rose have done like projection from a distance? Did Pearl always hold on to the gem, or did she somehow, while like shattering her, manage to like grab the gem, and then they did the whole thing of like transforming dirt into look like kind of the parts, the shattered remains of a gem, and just the effects made it look like a shattering, when in fact it was more of a sleight of hand type thing of Pearl as Rose, destroying the kind of like poofing, I suppose, the real Pink, at the same time as she sort of like grabs her gem, and the gem shards, quote unquote, that she had made were what actually happened. That's where I assume they'll perhaps want to clarify exactly what went on. In that, I think most fans would like a kind of a more clear-cut flashback of just go back, set an episode here, and without a kind of framing device like they do here with the different memories and kind of touching on different time periods, just tell the story like a story from start to finish, what actually happened here, and show the shattering, and the make it super clear what happened. As it is, I think it's all there, but it's like so still like kind of, you have to interpret it, and you really have to like rewatch the scene and figure it out. Because like initially I was like really confused until I realized that okay, she didn't morph the gem or anything like that. It literally just is turning it. So it's like little things like that kind of help to become clarified on the rewatches. And yeah, just knowing kind of what happens here, like it changes so much, because this is suddenly like, yes, Steven is a diamond basically. Rose was always Pink Diamond, and it's so, now that it's been confirmed, it's just crazy to think about like that they kept it hidden for so long, to the point where most people thought it was a pretty crazy theory up until like one or two pieces of evidence really came to light more recently, even though the theory's been around for much longer. So definitely praise to the writers for that, which they deserve praise when they do something good, because I think rightfully so, they have been criticized for other stuff they've done with the series that hasn't been great. So I also really like that the little preview they had for the next group of episodes, I suppose, which is coming in the summer, just gave you that good tease about, now that this is out, now that everyone knows, because we see Steven basically pop out of Pearl, and he says the reveal to everyone, and so this is Garnet finding out, this is Amethyst finding out, and what does this mean to know that basically everyone was lied to? This was a secret between Pearl and Rose, Pink Diamond, and no one else knew. Not Garnet doesn't know, and that's crazy. It obviously results in the splitting up of Ruby and Sapphire, at least initially, and then Amethyst, obviously is kind of the younger gem of the group, but her reaction, like obviously she's shocked by this, but like what's the exact meaning of it? And we obviously know that it's going to take a while for Steven to comprehend with this. It'd be really interesting to see if when Greg gets this reveal, does it like change anything, or did he know somehow, or like there's so many different things to come out of this, because like, does Peridot have a reaction? Is Lapis going to have a reaction now that like Steven, who she's okay with talking to, is a diamond? And then I suppose once this reveal comes out to the other diamonds, and they know that what happened is that Pink Diamond had a child on Earth, and Steven is effectively like the legacy of Pink going forward. Will that change anything? Will they be really antagonistic, or will there be a sense of like Pink is still here in some way, and they try and take Steven or something along those lines? Because obviously the big thing that will probably change things up is the fact that we know very little about White Diamond. I think that's the other diamond color. Yeah, because it's yellow, pink, blue, and white. So yeah, White Diamond hasn't really been featured like at all. That's and the white light is obviously what like really ruins things in a way that destroyed the other crystal gems on Earth. That's the big thing. I think that will White Diamond will probably end up being the main villain, I think, because I feel that Blue may end up kind of being more understanding of what's going on here, because we've already seen kind of Steven interact with her. Yellow, I think, could go either way, but because they've had kind of Blue and Yellow interact a bit, like it could be everyone against White Diamond. But again, that all depends on how they go about doing that introduction. But yeah, I think just two really, really good episodes. I'm really interested to see where they go with Lapis after this episode. Now that they've kind of had her go away, more or less brought her back, and then now kind of have her double down and wanted to stay away. But clearly they did that because they're setting up something with her, in terms of how Peridot or anyone, like when she sees the others again, how they react to her is going to be very telling. And then just the whole pink diamond pearl reveal stuff. It's obviously going to change the dynamic of this huge secret that's been present for so long. Like we're right at the end of season 5, getting towards the end of season 5 now, and only now this secret has come out. How does this change things for everyone? And I suppose we're still waiting to see what the full extent of the plot is, and that like Lars is on his way back. Is he going to arrive back at the same time as the diamonds? It feels in a way like we could reach the end game, but like I think we already know there's going to be a season 6 at this stage. So I assume with the last couple of episodes they'll deal with the initial aftermath of this and set up season 6 probably to be the big climactic final plot heavy season with everything going on. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say here. So that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.